The City of Johannesburg for Environment and Infrastructure Services Department and City Power are joining hands to improve service delivery. 18 customer care agents will be roped in for the project. For more on this, I'm joined by the city's Environment and Infrastructure Services MMC, Michael Sun. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're determined to improve customer service. Tell us more about how this process will work.
Good morning, Paul, and thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to explain this wonderful initiative by City Power and, of course, our Department of EISD. So for a long time that our residents, have been struggling with reporting electricity faults, and only to find out that they don't get timely response, or, when they see the fault has been closed, that the power still has not been restored. So what we've discovered is that there needs to be a human interface or intervention in between the process and the system that we're looking to upgrade to ensure that whilst we have this system upgraded, that we still have that real person, real human, in the form of our customer care agents, calling back to the residents for the faults that they've logged, to explain to them what is the progress and, very importantly, when the electricity will be restored. So this is really our initiative to ensure that we improve customer service and customer experience so that we improve the overall services from a city as a service provider.
And in terms of how the process will play out, you've got 18 customer agents who will be dealing with customer service. I mean, is this in addition to an existing team, or is this just the team in its entirety to service the city?
This is phase one of our project. So the first team of 18 core customer care agents are busy being trained. We are looking forward to them assuming duties as early as the first week of January. They are in addition to a current software system we have called ForceLink. So the problem in the past was that, for example, when you have a major outage that affects a large area of the residents, the main issue may have been resolved, but they would sometimes leave some of the residents still without power. And when that fault is being closed, those individually affected customers may still not have power. And this is where the human customer care agent will come very effective. Is that, in fact, they will call back these individual customers to ensure that there's quality control, quality assurance, and also just to get feedback, how was the service levels, and ensure that the electricity is back on the run.
And
the hiccups.
Absolutely. As the team gets started, what are some of the priority areas? I mean, as they get started next week, or perhaps you said the first week of Jan, what are the focal points that will be really important to set them up to begin to ensure that there is excellent customer service for the residents?
No, boy, absolutely. Such a valid question. I think the first thing the customer care agent must focus at is giving real-time and timeous response to customers. I, as a customer, wouldn't want to be sitting in the dark and not knowing what is the progress of the restoration, when the power will come back on, and once the power back on, are they back to normal? So these are all the focal points we'll be focusing on. In fact, go beyond that, some of the internal workings. The customer care agents will obviously have to inform the internal systems, ensure that resources are dispatched to the right places, and of course, working with our local councillors to keep the community informed if there's any planned or unplanned interruptions. So all these gaps in between the communications, the misalignment, we are looking to address, ensure that we give the best service as our Joburg residents so much deserve.
In the past, I mean, we've had City Power officials perhaps go to people's houses and check if the meter boxes are running correctly. And there have been problems with perhaps residents not really sure whether or not they're opening for an official from your office, because maybe, you know, it could pose as a criminal who wants to enter someone's property. What are some of the protocols that you'll ensure are in place before those officials go out and knock on people's doors? You know, because it's one thing to have them come to your door, but without being informed is also a huge challenge and perhaps a potential danger.
I agree with you, you know, especially in this day and age where crime is so high in South Africa that we really don't want to just open doors for anybody, especially to come read a meter. Some of the work are done by City Power contractors, so they are not city's officials, but contracted by the city, by City Power, to be more particular. But if there are any concerns of a resident not you know, sure as to whether the person is in fact from City Power, they're most welcome to phone this number. If I could give it to you, it's 0860 562 874. Just to verify that the person checking your electricity files or the meter should be carrying an identity card issued by City Power. But even if the residents are unsure about it, they're most welcome to call in just to verify the identity of the person.
Absolutely. And also when it comes to rectifying some of the past problems that have been ongoing and persistent, how much are you relying on this first phase of the team to come and address those problems?
Our ultimate aim is obviously to upgrade, to improve our current infrastructure and system. A lot of the issues can be resolved, you know, by automating the whole system. You know, we need to be smart about things. We need to be intelligent. There are technologies that we need to invest into. For example, there's a system that we are currently using called SCADA that would show us, you know, the faults without the customers having to call in to say there's a fault. We really need to invest into technology so we have a better monitoring system as to where is a problem, where our residents facing power outages. So without having to wait for that call by the residents, we are proactive as a city, as City Power, to go out and get the problem sorted. And that would eliminate a lot of the frustrations and unfortunately a lot of the anger by the residents. You know, the one last thing we want the residents to be is with electricity or water. So this is why we're now implementing the human interface to ensure that our customers receive this human service whilst we are investing and improving the system.
With the human service also comes the bulk SMSs that homeowners would want to really access to ensure that they do get the feedback and the communication as needed. How then do residents become a part of perhaps signing up and ensuring that they do get those bulk SMSs if they're not part of a community or street WhatsApp group?
Well, at the moment there's a City Power app. It's www.citypower.mobi. So that's the one way of being keeping informed. Otherwise, you know, we will certainly announce that portal where the residents can register and be part of that database. So when we do have a outage that affects a larger area of our city, that our residents can be kept informed. We're also obviously looking at a more direct and a cheaper system. You know, we have those community WhatsApp groups. We will certainly work with our councillors in the area to share information so our councillors can assist us to, you know, disseminate those kind of information to the residents, and also very importantly, like I said, the progress and the estimated time of restoration.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time there. Speaking to MMC for Environment and Infrastructure, Michael Sun, informing us then about City Power introducing a new customer-centric feedback system. You'll see that on your screen is the www.citypower.mobi, an app that you can download to ensure that you're part of those bulk SMSs and the communication. And there's also a cell phone, a number that you can use to verify should you find that a person's come to your doorstep saying that they're from City Power to check your meter. You can call that number 0860-562-874 to verify. You never know in these days. Of course, that is a wrap of that conversation with Michael Sun.